What's up guys, my name's Diachronic, your host here on this Destiny video, and today we're going to be counting off the top 5 PvP weapons in the Crucible as of right now, right after the Rise of Iron release. You guys are always asking the question, hey, what's the best weapon to use in the PvP Crucible? And I've been compiling lists, asking everybody in the community, actually practicing myself, and I've come down to a top 5 that will actually blow your shorts off. So before I start, I would like to say this was more communally focused. So what I did was I compiled a large list of different weapons and I started knocking them off one by one, asking different professionals in the community, as well as having a large straw poll that I sent out on Twitter that had a bunch of people retweet. It has 3,600 votes. So I'd like to say, for the most part, I have a general consensus of what a lot of people think are the best weapons in the game. I'd like to also say that a lot of these votes were actually still pretty close. The top item had like 600 votes, and yet some of the items were actually still only like 5 votes apart, although there is some I would like to shuffle around in this order because I definitely do like some of them better than the other. This is based on what you guys thought. If you guys want to participate in the next top 5 and whatever and whatnot, go follow my Twitter down in the description down below and just stay tuned. I'll be like, hey guys, I can't really decide on what this thing is. You guys are gonna let me know what you think is the best. I'm going to be doing a top 5 PvE weapons in the future, so make sure you guys go over there and vote for those things. Another thing I wanted to mention is that this top 5 was kind of leaning towards the new guns, although it was not completely. A lot of the guns on this list are from the previous years that have just kind of been upgraded into the new meta, but for the most part, if you guys do not see a gun here on the list that you thought was really good, it might have been because it's one of the older weapons, and if it's a newer weapon and it's kind of not as well known, not as well seen in the PvP Crucible, that might be another reason why people didn't vote for it or mention it at all, just because of the fact that, you know, for example, the Last Word, great weapon, very useful, just, you know, a lot of the times we've already seen tons of it, and everybody's using all the new weapons, so just like to preface that. Another preface I'd like to talk about is the fact that I haven't actually used all of the weapons on this list, or at least I don't have all of them. I have used all of them on other people's accounts. I do not have them on my account. I didn't get recording of each and every single one of them. Again, this is a community-focused top 5, so it's what you guys think. And of course, I did my research. I did other things to look at what the weapons were and how they did and all the whatnot. So let's go ahead and get right into the top 5 weapons in PvP Crucible. Coming into the 5th position in the top 5 PvP weapons in Crucible is none other than the Hawksaw. You guys have heard of it, you guys have loved it. The Year 2 weapon, the Quartermaster Vanguard weapon that everybody was loving for such a long time. Now, if you guys don't know, this used to be sold by the Crucible Quartermaster. It's not being sold anymore, but it used to be. It is the high fire rate, low impact pulse rifle that everybody has been loving for such a long time that still has a place in our hearts. So, the Hawksaw, where do you guys get it from now on? You get it from, you know, Crucible drops and Nightfall drops, basically an RNG drop, wherever the high legendaries drop, you guys can find this weapon. Other statistics about this weapon: has a really good stability and actually really good reload time. Its magazine size is a little bit on the low side, so you probably want to upgrade that with any of the extra abilities. Its aim assistant is decent. Its equip speed is actually off the charts. I don't even know why, but it is. Its recoil direction is actually decent, and of course its zoom, who cares? But you know, you can see these stats on the screen. I'm just reading. I'm not doing much more than reading. Now, what places this gun in so many places in our heart? It's fire rate. You can basically 3 burst an enemy in such a short amount of time that it competes with those hand cannons time. You guys know that 3 hand cannon shots in the head, you'll basically kill an enemy in a couple of seconds. This weapon can do exactly that. Low impact does not matter when 3 bursts will kill them pretty much no matter what. You basically 4 bursts in the body will kill them. So if you can hit all the shots on the headshots, or most of the shots on headshots, you're gonna kill them in 3 bursts most of the time you're fighting an enemy. Other than that, there's not much more to say about this weapon. It's dependable. It has uses at short range and medium range. It does start to lack at the long range engagements. If you see a sniper sight, do not engage. Do not even try. Just get out of there. You're gonna get body shot and then headshot it. It's ridiculous. It also kind of gets outclassed, especially against a shotgun or a hand cannon at close range, but if you start to have some good discipline with this weapon, fire those shots into the body when you're at close range, you should be able to pull it out if the enemy misses 1 or 2 shots. Coming into the number 4 slot in the top 5 weapons in Crucible, PvP, whatever, is the Palindrome. I might actually leave that in. The Palindrome, everybody's been using it, everybody's been loving it. One of the biggest selling features of this weapon is that it can be bought. You can go up to the Crucible Quartermaster and buy this weapon right off the shelves, and it is one of the most favored hand cannons in the Crucible. For the most part, this is one of those impact high cannons. Everybody knows high impact, low fire rate. Everybody loves it. Everybody used it in the past. From the Thorn to the Hawk Moon to the other hand cannons in the Crucible. Everybody knows high impact, low fire rate is how you go. Not only that, it also has a higher magazine size of 9. Now, I know you guys are gonna say magazine, clip, cartridge, who cares? It has 9 bullets in it, okay? Before you have to reload, 9 bullets in it. And that's really good because it takes 3 shots to kill somebody in the head. You basically take 4 or 5 shots to kill somebody in the body. You have basically two kills in each clip. I'm gonna say clip this time, okay? Everybody else, shove right off. This is a clip for me, and always has been for me. Other things about this weapon is that its recoil is through the roof. It will fly and kick off into some other direction. I don't know why this weapon wasn't called the Matador, because it just kicks like a bow. It just flies off into the one direction, but because of its low fire rate, it doesn't really matter. I think you're able to fire before the recoil comes all the way back, so you want to have a bit more discipline with your trigger discipline, because this weapon does fly off into a direction, but for the most part, you'll be able to fire by the time it comes back, and the recoil doesn't actually matter that much. If you understand hand cannons, you like hand cannons, this is going to be one of the guns for you. And again, its little description is "Draw, oh coward," which is a palindrome, which is nice. Everybody knew it was going to be like that, like the Magus loop. Everybody was loving that because it was just a loop in the script. Anyways, this weapon is great. You guys should check it out. It has great aim assist, horrible recoil, but great impact. For the most part, it will be outclassed from mid to long range. If you find a pulse rifle at mid range, you might be able to pull off a few headshots, but it's gonna be kind of difficult because of stability, so it kind of is lackluster at that range. As far as the add-ons to this weapon, many people swear by a whole bunch of things. For the most part, people want higher range on this item so that it can actually compete in that medium engagement range. If you want to try to have higher stability, you can, but I feel like its stability is going to be too harsh no matter how much stability you put on it, even perfect balance and all these upgrades. So for the most part, I would just say, hey, stability is gonna suck. Let's just try to improve its range and make it more lethal at medium range. Other upgrades, if you can get on it, Icarus, great for, jumping through the air, being more agile, and target acquisition, hidden hand are also pretty great for this weapon. Coming into the number 3 slot in the top 5 PvP weapons in Crucible, this is actually my favorite weapon in Crucible. If I had to choose, this would be at number 1 no matter what, because this weapon is awesome, it is great, and I have it. This is my favorite weapon to use. It's so good. I got like a 3.0 KD in the gameplay you're actually probably seeing at some point during this video. This is the Grasp of Malik. Everybody has heard of it. It's one of the newer weapons that's dropping in actually a multitude of areas, or at least I've heard a multitude. I personally got it from the skeleton chest from the new strike. You know that strike with the big ogre at the end with the different discombobulated parts, and he had like a mace on one hand. At the end of that, I used a skeleton key on that chest. I got the Devil's Dawn and the Grasp of Malik. And that's where I got it. Some people are saying you can find it from the skeleton key chest at the end of Perfected Sepic's quest, or the strike. Other people are saying Crucible. Lots of different locations you can potentially get it probably, but those are the 2 places, the 2 strikes that I've heard that it comes from the most, and I personally did get it from, I do have it, so I got it from that chest. So some things to know about this weapon is high fire rate, low impact, but more so than the Hawk Moon, so more fire rate, even lower impact, has a bit more of a magazine size clip, even though not by a lot. It has pretty much the same idea. Big thing on it though is its aim assist. Probably one of the biggest reasons why I love this weapon is I didn't even realize the aim assist. The secondary stats you can see here, the aim assist off the chart. Its reload speed isn't as good as a Hawk Saw, but who cares about reload speed? Its equip speed, recoil direction are all very controllable and very nice. So if you find that you're having too much recoil, you're probably one of the 1%, because this recoil is actually really good at this weapon. And because of its high fire rate, you can use it at close range. This weapon destroys from close to medium range. If you want, you can put more stability on it to try to compete in those longer range engagements, but because of its burst fire thing, it's gonna be pretty much off. You should never engage at long range. You should have a sniper rifle secondary if you want, maybe even a shotgun secondary, because this kind of fills multiple roles in that thing, and it looks really cool, and it reminds me of the back in the day with the Oversoul Edict. Just, pretty much is the same weapon, like stats wise, look wise, Oryx wise, pretty much the same weapon. Like, everybody knows this. Other than that, there's not much more to say about this weapon. It's amazing. If you get it, use it. It's great. If you love pulse rifles as much as I do, use it. It's great. I love it. I've said this twice now because it's great. I love it. 3 times. All right, let's move on to the next weapon. Coming into the number 2 position in the top 5 weapons in PvP Crucible is going to be none other than the Baby Hawkmoon, the Ice Luna. Everybody swears by this weapon. Its description I love. I'm going to read to you. One day, young hawk, thou shalt sail beneath this silver moon. Everybody knows the silver moon is the hawk moon. This physical properties of this weapon, it looks like a hawk moon. It has that like triangle-like barrel-shaped thing. It has the same pretty much stats on it, although a little bit different than it. This is the Baby Hawkmoon that everybody has been loving in the Crucible. The places you get it, Crucible drops, Nightfall drops. That's pretty much the only places you're getting it. Basically, RNG. Maybe you get it from legendary engrams. So some statistics about this weapon: high impact, low fire rate. A bit less so than the Palindrome, so it has a little bit less impact, more fire rate on it. It doesn't have the ridiculous recoil that the Palindrome has, so it's a bit more towards the center when it comes to like if you average all stats. So this weapon is going to be a little bit less damage, but for the most part, you can still 3-shot the enemy, so it doesn't actually really matter that much. And it has more bullets in its clip size. So at the size of 12, makes it so you can actually combat 3 people, up to pretty much 3 people without actually having to reload. For the most part, you might not get to 3 people because you're gonna get killed in that time, but you can potentially kill 3 people without having to reload, which basically puts this weapon above the Palindrome in my mind, just for that single fact alone. Other things about this weapon is its aim assist is pretty decent, its recoil direction is pretty controllable. It will recoil and come back to the center before being able to fire the next shot, so its stability is pretty good too. It's a Baby Hawkmoon, but just so much better than the Palindrome in so many ways that I would recommend getting this. If you have it drop, just use this over the Palindrome. Palindrome is kind of like a backup for the backup Hawkmoon. If you can't get it, because you can buy it from the Quartermaster, but this weapon just tears people apart. Its nice red finish makes it look disgusting and glorious in the Crucible, and a lot of people have been destroying with it in the Crucible. Now, I bet you guys are asking yourself, what could possibly be number 1 in that kind of lineup? A lot of you probably been thinking, oh, hey, look, a Hawkmoon is better than the Baby Hawkmoon, right? Hawkmoon's not on this list. Now, a lot of you guys basically started clicking on that comment section and started typing, stop! You right there, stop! It's not me, it's them. They voted. I asked many people and they said, let's keep the Hawkmoon out so that maybe other weapons have a chance to see the light. And for the most part, people have been playing with the newer weapons rather than the older weapons. Ice Luna is a little bit newer than the Hawkmoon, to say the least. And a lot of the other weapons like the Palindrome, the Grass Melic, are completely new for the Crucible arena. So, coming into the number 1 weapon in the top 5 PvP weapons in Crucible is none other than the shotgun of the bull. There was supposed to be a joke there. Anyways, it's the Matador 64. Just the fact that its name kind of rhymes and it flows off the tongue is enough to piss me off just saying it. Matador 64. It's just... whenever I see the guy in the leaderboard, the 5th position in the leaderboard, get a drop of Matador, I leave the game, I turn my Xbox off, I throw my controller out the window as hard as I physically can because I hate seeing this weapon in Crucible. So instead of trying to tell you guys how you can make this weapon better, I'm instead gonna try to rate this on how much I hate being killed by this weapon and what upgrade you should apply to it. This weapon is a high impact, high range, very, very low fire rate shotgun. This gun also has 5 bullets in a magazine or a clip or whatever it is, 5 shells in the barrel, who cares? For the most part, you're not gonna go through all 5. This is pretty average 5. There's either 5 or 6, pretty much 4 to 6 is the average for them, so having 5 makes it average. Its other things is its recoil, flies off into any direction, doesn't really matter since its fire rate is so low, it will come back down in time. This weapon is high fire rate, it's high damage and high range. So if you guys want upgrades for it, more impact and more range. Anything to make those things better, and you're gonna have more people crying and more people cringing every time they die to it. Now, a lot of people swear by the full auto perk, but if I get killed from 2 shots of a shotgun, I'm gonna be a little bit less annoyed for the most part. But if I get killed by 1 shot from a shotgun at like short to maybe even medium range, oh boy, I am starting to yell. Even nobody can hear me, I'm starting to yell. And that's the cringe factor for me. is I'm starting to yell. If you guys can get more range on this weapon, you guys have got something beautiful. Field chokes, lots of anything with a death choke, really. That'll be very preferable for this weapon. Other than that, there's really not much more to this weapon. It is kind of a one-trick pony, but it is that trick that everybody loves to see. This is one of the dominating weapons in Supremacy right now. A lot of people don't have this weapon, so they're kind of using the backup version of this weapon, the Party Crasher, and the backup version of that weapon, the Conspiracy Theory D, and I think I have a backup version that's not even close, so I think it's just the New Monarch shotgun. But for the most part, this weapon destroys. If you see it drop for you, you should try using it immediately. You should try getting great rolls on it. You should try to just basically make everybody jealous because this is the top weapon in the Crucible. This had way more votes than everybody else. This had like I don't know. Well, let me go check real quick. This gun had 670 votes, whereas the Ice Luna had 515 votes. Did I mention the Grass Malik was only 5 votes behind the Ice Luna? For 500 votes, it was 5 away. But again, this graph doesn't lie. The Matador was definitively better than all the other weapons that were showed and on that list, and everybody loves it. Other than that, there's not much more to say. A lot of honorable mentions would be a Mida multi-tool was talked about. The Last Word was talked about a lot. There's a lot of other weapons, you know, Party Crasher was in there. Kvastov got crushed. I'm gonna say this right up. Kvastov got like 100 votes. Like, not a lot of people are loving the Kvastov. Even though I love the Kvastov, it wasn't even thought about. A lot of other people are talking about, you know, weapons like the Shadow Prize. People talking about the Doctrine of Passing, the Messenger. A lot of people are basically swearing by tons and tons of other weapons, but this was voted for you guys. 3,611 votes at this exact moment on the day this video is releasing. Screw you, I'm lazy and procrastinating, but hey, I got this video out, and that's all that really matters. That's gonna be the end of the video for you guys today. Hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, make sure you leave a like down below. If you're at this point in the video, you're most likely gonna like the video, but if you haven't, I would really appreciate you did. And so, of course, subscribe for more top 5s in the future. I wanna do tons of top 5s. Basically, as much top 5s as I can until we get super stupid, and then we can do some stupid top 5s. And then I can do my top 5 most stupid top 5s, and it's gonna be great. And I actually thought that that's actually a really fun idea. But anyways, of course, I've been your host, Diachronic. Hope you guys did enjoy, and I'll see you guys on the next one.